There's an article that came across my phone the other day, and thought I'd talk about it. Now, I was a huge fan of Critical Role. I was still politically detached, or pretty apolitical, I guess you could say. Like, I am not an advocate for politics at all. I prefer there to be no politics and, like, or at least no government, to be more specific. I prefer there be no government simply because government policies ruin everything. But I digress. I was a huge fan of Critical Role at one point in time. Now, this isn't going to be me. This isn't going to be necessarily a slander session or anything like that. But what I will say is they are one of the primary reasons why D&D as it is not as entertaining as it should have been, or as it could be, because they're putting out a lot of shit nowadays as far as Wizards of the Coast and shit like that, fucking Paizo and whatnot. They're putting out a lot of stuff that is not good. So let's go ahead and get into this, because this pretty much outlines exactly why Critical Role, like the first campaign, great campaign. They should have done more shit like that, but then they ended up doing some pander to everybody shit in the second campaign. It pissed me off. They never finished up Ford's story, and it pissed me off to no fucking end, because I like Ford. Ford, hands down, my favorite character in the entire pantheon of Critical Role, without fucking effort. Without fucking effort. But then his shit got shelved, I guess, to wrap up the story or the campaign, so they can move on to the third one and do some other shit. Anyway, the problem with Critical Role's latest campaign, the setting of Marquette was inspired by Southwest Asian, North African cultures, but it's the dogs. But it's viewed from a distorted outsider's perspective. Hold on. Now there's a lot of shit to read here, because I kind of skimmed through the article. There is a lot of shit. If I end up putting this shit up as a video, then I guess I'll just link this shit. I'll do an archive link because I don't want to give Kotaku any more clicks. Nonetheless, article done by Jenny Yao, and it reads: in early fall, the hugely successful Dungeons & Dragons actual play series Critical Role announced plans for their third campaign set in fictionalized world of Marquette. While the campaign would draw inspiration from real life Swana, Southwest Asian, North African. Dog, they got a fucking acronym for everything. They literally got an acronym for everything. They got BIPOC, LGBTQ, NLP, plus asterisk, hashtag up, down, left, right, hold, press start. They got SWANA. They got NAACP. They got AOL. No, it's a fucking acronym for everything. God damn. The group would work together with sensitivity consultants to craft a fantasy continent free of appropriation. Imagine the kind of logic it takes to make a campaign based off of a specific culture without including the specific culture. Here's an easier thought. Don't do it. You don't want to do anything entertaining? Don't do it. That's simple. Like, it makes no sense to me that people would stretch themselves fucking thin to appease people who don't actually give a fuck about you. That's saying something, because let me scroll back up, right? You got a team of solid people, right? A solid team of friends, people who work well together, and they just know how to tell a good story and have fun and get you involved in the story with them. But where we are right now, campaign 1 was so enthralling. Let me scroll back up. Talison's character was willing to risk everything for revenge alone. That shit was it was a fantastic story. He was one of my favorite characters in the first campaign. And then you had Vaxodon, who he pulled a fucking Dean Winchester and like gave up his own soul in order to save his sister's life. And I was like, all right, compelling. You got Grog, who wanted, who knew that his destiny was to take down his uncle, the man who pretty much dragged him into a life that he didn't want to be a part of. Now that shit was good. You got fucking Scanlan, who with Sam's character, who was like pretty much a womanizer, and finds out that like there's a lot more darker secrets about him, as far as him having like an addiction and him having a daughter he never knew. and having to essentially face the music as a bard, ironically enough, face the music of, becoming the better person in the whole situation. Like, he becomes a butt of the joke, and then he kind of goes off on his own thing. He's like, the people who really care wouldn't treat me like this and this, that, and the other, so on and so forth. All this stuff goes down. You got to watch the first campaign to understand what I'm saying. But like, I'm hyped because the first campaign was fantastic. You had Keyleth, who's just pretty much Avatar on a search, or who's pretty much Aang on a search for her mother. And I was just like, okay, this could work. This could work, and it was good. She felt like she was failing every time she felt like she was failing every time she would, take that next step. But, then she had people there to back her up. Then she reached down deep within herself and became, the leader of her tribe by way of the trial that her mother went through and all this other. It was crazy. It was cool shit. And then, you had Pike, who would pop up every now and then, but that's because Ashley had other shit going on in her life. Nonetheless, the first campaign was fantastic. Second campaign, not so much. Second campaign only had like 2 characters that I actually gave a fuck about, being Caleb and Ford. I'm on a fucking tear because this shit pissed me off to high fucking heaven. It's hard to enjoy Critical Role nowadays because they're taking the safest route possible. Like, they don't want to attempt to piss people off. Like, I'm not saying you have to piss people off, but you're neutering your own value for the sake of people who don't give a fuck about you. That's what I'm saying. Am I saying be a complete and total asshole? No. I'm saying be who you are. That's all. Nonetheless, before I went on that tirade, halfway through the first fucking paragraph, dog, I'm mad. I'm fucking. There's a fire lit under my stomach for this shit. I love D&D too much for this. For this shit to be going down like this. Fantasy kind of free of appropriation. Dungeon Master Matt Mercer said in a blog post, Mercer sounds earnest enough, and it's nice to see them be proactive about hiring consultants right off the bat instead of waiting to be called out on a misstep. Shit, fucking call me out on a goddamn misstep. Do it. Fucking call me out on a misstep. If I misgender you, if you are a biological woman, but you dress like a fucking dude, and I say, what's going on, dude? And you say I'm a woman, I'm like, oh, my bad. It's that easy. Just call me out. This shit is stupid. Let's go ahead and avoid all the fucking landmines. Completely overlooking that there are enemies in the fucking bushes waiting to just nail us with a bunch of rockets. So why are some people so mad at them? Well, you guys know why I'm mad at them. Because they won't actually play the game to how they want to enjoy it. They'll play it to how they hope people would enjoy it. It's fucking stupid. As opposed to just put out good shit. That's it. Damn the people that don't like it. But when the campaign was initially revealed, the criticism from the tabletop role-playing game, GameSphere, and from Swana creators, I gotta use that fucking acronym. Swana creators like myself, shut up, boiled down to Critical Role making a financial killing off the aesthetics of cultures not represented in the actual cast makeup of the show. Heavens for fucking bid, you will be a white person playing as a fictional black person in the fucking theater of the mind. You create a character. Heavens for fucking bid, you goddamn earthling-based human play a fucking aquatic elf, or an orc, or a goddamn Goliath, or a Loxodon, or a Minotaur, or a fucking Illithid, or a goddamn Tiefling. Heavens for fucking bid, you be something other than what you fucking are in a fictional set. The leaps and fucking bounds these people take, it pisses me off. God damn, they're retarded. Anyway, before I which is entirely made up entirely of white. I'm so mad. Made up entirely of white people, save for a new guest member, that Hispanic dude. I think I don't know his name. I don't care. There was also a healthy amount of apprehension as to how respectfully this world was being built. Listen, anybody who watched the first campaign knows that Gilmore, the merchant, everybody knows that Gilmore was from Marquette. Everyone knows Gilmore was not white. But Matt played that character so fucking well, people wanted to see him again and again and again and again and again. Both Matt and Gilmore are not the same race. They might be the same gender, but not the same race. But people love the character that was played by the guy that they love to see play the character. It's that easy. So when you say stupid shit like this, oh, well, it's appropriation. Eat a dick. Eat a dick. After the campaign was announced in October, critical attention, I see what you did there, gradually ebbed away as the discourse wheel continued to turn. But on December 10th, Critical Role released the intro sequence for their third campaign, a dramatic music video. I just don't care. Dramatic music video that cuts between the cast members at the table and themselves in costumes, exploring an unseen fantasy environment. It appears to be an innocuous, silly video where the cast members sing, make over-the-top expressions, and roll dice in intense slow-mo. Sounds like they were having fun. But the overlying aesthetic is what plays the critical role. I see what you did there in the reignition of this discussion. Oh God, heavens forbid people have some fucking fun. This attire might seem inspired by franchises such as Uncharted, The Mummy, and Indiana Jones, and the classic adventure serials that influenced those stories. Shut the fuck up. But those are charged colonial stories for people of color. See? This is exactly what I mean. This is exactly what I fucking mean. They don't care. They never cared about the fucking game. They only care about themselves and their fucking agenda. They never gave a fuck. They never will give a fuck. And I say you promptly kick them the fuck out. That easy. Get them the fuck out. Ignore these people. If you don't ignore them, shame and mock these people. Shame and mock them out of the fucking room. That's it. They deserve to be ridiculed, pushed the fuck out of there, because they serve zero purpose to the entertainment value that is Dungeons and Dragons. Really simple. Really fucking simple. Yes, these costumes are functionally harmless as anything is on a purely aesthetic level. But they speak to a legacy of disregard and disrespect to colonized cultures often robbed, literally, of their material heritage and ancestry by the outside explorer who represents a larger power structure, she says from her fucking iPhone. The desire to present, well, I mean, she is Asian, so I mean, there's that. The desire to protect and preserve history in a museum is an admirable one. But even the most heroic and selfless of the fictional explorers in those classic tales is still stealing from the people indigenous to the foreign lands they explore. You know, because Asian people never stole from Asian people. White people never stole from white people. Black people never stole from black people. Hispanic people never stole from Hispanic people. Like, it just doesn't exist. If anything is being stolen, it's white people from others that aren't white and possibly white at the same time. It just, 2 and 2 always makes 17, right? Because people are retarded nowadays in 2022. Nonetheless, I digress. Removing these artifacts from their homeland to be displayed elsewhere also suggests that the people of these cultures are incapable of being responsible for the preservation of their own history. In some cases. The consequences of these narratives, both real and fictional, persist to this day, with many museums in the Western world boasting catalogs of artifacts acquired through colonialist means. I don't care. I just don't care about what the hell whatever her name is talking about. Then it goes into some other fucking diatribe about a bunch of Orientalism and other stupid shit, and a bunch of, I'm skipping through most of it because it's just, I don't fucking care to read about this bitch's rice-based hang-ups. I don't fucking care. I'm trying my best to be as charged as possible with these statements. With Critical Role being as influential, I'm right here. With Critical Role being as influential to D&D as it is, it's highly likely that Wizards of the Coast will release official Marquette branded content, which will then become the de facto Swana-based fantasy setting for mainstream tabletop gaming for years to come. And I will only create characters. Do you know why? Because I don't want to play characters in this stupid ass setting. I don't want to. That's like that Strixhaven shit that I did a video on too, where there's just pretty much just Harry Potter meets Mean Girls, which is fucking stupid. I don't want that as a story. I'm trying to go fight a goddamn dragon. I'm trying to fight frost giants. Bring on the fucking lich, the lich. Like, bring on bring on threats to the world. I don't want threats to my fucking not even so much a relationship. I don't want like threats to my goddamn like my neighbor's house or some shit like that. I don't care about my goddamn neighbor. I don't even fucking have a neighbor. I'm a traveling adventurer. This shit makes no fucking sense. These people, I will say every fucking, well, let me read this. Hold on. Blah, 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 blah. And this is understandably worrying to many Swana people working in games, particularly in tabletop circles. Not me. I'm making a tabletop game. I'm developing my own tabletop RPG with blackjack and hookers. Matter of fact, forget the tabletop RPG. But nonetheless, I'm making my own tabletop game. I'm going to make sure that everything that is what it is will remain what it is, because that's what it was created for. That's why I made it that way. That's why things exist the way that they are, because they are what they are. And when you do this stupid fucking mental gymnastics shit of trying to make yourself the important one, all you do is hurt everybody fucking else. The same thing that Carlos Maza did when he weaponized fucking Pride or whatever that shit was and tried to get Crowder demonetized, and in his fucking wake ruined it for every YouTube creator out there. Because Carlos Maza, Gay Wonk is his name, because he's a fucking retard. And you have other individuals like Anita Sarkeesian who will weaponize being a woman and saying, oh, well, women are always mistreated in video games. Fucked it up for video games. You have dumb broads like Heather Ontos and Vita Ayala and Danny Lore who will say other stupid shit in regards to like LGBT and stuff like that. Fucked it up for comics. You got Kathleen Kennedy, the Force is female. Fucked it up for Star Wars. You got whatever that dumbass dude's name is for Doctor Who. Fuck that shit up. These people do not care about your entertainment. They care about themselves. They will care about nothing but themselves. And when they have enough money to make off with the loot, they will pull whatever that bitch's name from Black Lives Matter, the broad that talked about the plight, this, that, and the other, and then just like made off with the fucking loot, got a $2 million house out somewhere in the fucking in Cali or some shit like that. They'll pull that move. They'll get the fuck up out of there. Same thing with a dumbass motherfucker like Hassan, who will weaponize socialism while profiting off of people by ways of capitalism, and then go fucking break off and do his own damn thing. By the way, Carlos Maza, living off of family money. Nicolo, another one who's profiting off of socialism. These people don't actually give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about the shit that you know partake in, such as D&D, bringing it all the way back to D&D. They don't give a fuck about that. That's why I always say, do not bend the knee. Don't bend the knee, because the moment you bend the knee is the moment you won't be able to take the dick out your mouth. Why? Because they won't stop fucking around. That's a good way to end the video. I'm gonna end the video right there.